Thank you for joining us on this voyage through time and space. Let us expand your perception and explore the supernatural, death, voodoo, and more on this All Hallows Eve special.
Booyakasha!
For people that are just listening, what are you wearing?
Poison ivy. I don't know, I feel very connected with this, spirituality period and the fact that nature, what the meaning of it, and I just come across with this costume I think is perfect. And what about you, Skinky Alien?
Skinky alien. I'm half between a lizard and an alien, it seems. Like, basically, I landed in Vegas, and that was my first experience of Earth, so...
Why not in India, though?
It's too obvious, where... Well, actually, Vegas is probably the most obvious place for an alien to land. You've got the big desert, there's, nothing around. So, if it's going to land anywhere, the first town it comes across is Vegas, and it's like, these guys know how to party.
What is up there?
What's up there?
Yeah.
Oof, lots. There's the infinite, it just keeps going.
But there is somebody else like us. There is another planet like...
I think there's civilizations out there very similar to us, but maybe they're better. Maybe they actually have this where they're not fighting, they're not having wars. They're just working together, building cool shit.
Yeah. Like, for my personal experience, and I think the influence of my culture, I think aliens or other, demons or witches exist for real and exist in everyday life, exist in the human body.
On this planet?
On this planet.
Okay.
Now
we're getting somewhere.
and even vampires. There is some, voodoo people or guru, if you want to call it, in Africa. They literally can see, those dark energies.
Okay.
Yeah, they can see the dark energy. They can see when somebody is being, driven by those entities and themselves. And they do crazy stuff, and also that's why I think in the past there were, and especially even now I think in somewhere they do an exorcism and stuff.
Exorcism?
Exorcism.
Right.
They do an exorcism, and yeah.
But what is an exorcism? You got some experience with this, right?
Yeah. Back home in Morocco, I was very little, and I can't remember everything, but I remember...
It's not going to work. So, continue. Just trying to, get a drink.
This is beautiful.
Continue.
So, yeah, it was, I think, a late afternoon. We had, a party. In a house where me and some friend of us some cousin, I can't remember, but yeah, we were 25 people.
So it's like a house party or something?
Yeah, but with a lot of family members and little kids around. And there were these women, she was doing voodoo.
She a family friend or something?
Not really. She was known from somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know in specific, but my grandma, she know every kind of spiritual or guru around there.
Heart readers.
Yeah, a lot of people doing those magical stuff, and I don't know how this ended up, but there was drum music and really old music to make the rhythm go.
What was the purpose of the whole event? Was it just a house party and then it kind of
No, I think it was the purpose to heal this person.
Okay.
So actually not one, but I think there is 2 or 3 people. They were like being taken off from these demons or like negative energy.
So these
in a
people
way.
had like there was something up with them, and then the solution was to.
One was my auntie.
Okay.
So
And can you just like maybe describe a little bit of her like symptoms or what was going on?
So when I spoke with her after, she couldn't really remember what was going on in the middle. She was like she was saying some weird words, but you couldn't really understand. And she's really been like, she was shaking her head like on different sides and everything. And she was like, I don't know, she was really, really captured by this kind of.
But how was she leading up to this? That's what I want to know. Like, what was she like? Was she acting strange or?
It's like, I think it's like kind of a mental heal.
Okay.
So it's a sickness. But in Western society, we deal with medicine as like a pill or, you know, some kind of normal thing you're going
Chemical.
to. Yeah, chemical things. But in those countries, they see as something really evil, or really,
It's like a real darkness.
yeah, really darkness. So they have those kind of ceremonies with the music and smoke, you know, some incense.
Sage.
And then, yeah, she had like this chicken and, you know, killed this chicken and used the blood. It was, guys, don't do this at home, okay? Never.
Don't exercise your neighbor.
No, don't play with animals. Don't play in those kind of things, and it's really, really dangerous. And also, my grandma, she's been telling me like, I think we don't know for real how much we can call those energies in our lives. Like, it's cool to watch an horror movie and, you know, be scared about stuff, but it's not really cool to use that as an example or being like obsessed by those kind of things.
Let's come back to this darkness, but tell me more about the ceremony with your aunt. Like, what happened? She killed a chicken.
Yeah,
And what did she do with the chicken?
She used the blood of it. She used to make some kind of a soup or something.
Was she like drank it or?
Drank it for my auntie and the other person that were sick.
So there was a couple people.
Yeah, they were dancing and acting, and then, yeah.
So what kind of like, were they okay? Were they happy or?
So
that's pretty traumatic.
It was really intense for them,
Yeah.
Really, really intense. And they kind of fell asleep, and the next day they start to be better, but it was a slow period, you know, like she needs like, I think, a month or 2 to really recover.
Quite an intense mind experience.
Yeah, I was very little, like I was like 12 or something. I can't remember the whole scenario, but my auntie, she's fine right now, so I don't know if
is it something that's come back to her at any point, or is it like healed her and she's been fine since?
Now she's fine, so I don't know if it was that in specific or a different kind of experience, because my grandma, every time that we come back to Morocco, me or my cousin or everybody, she's like, oh, let's do this, or let's, you know, go for.
So she's in a good place.
Yeah, she's very spiritual in a kind of respectful way. Like, they know there is something out there, and that's why if everything can be important, even words, you know, when you say bad things, you call something in your life. If you say good things, or even mantra for Indians, you know, when they say something, is to clean the the energy around you, so you don't attract bad stuff. And there is always a balance between those two. And I heard, like, there is a movie lately, not even one, but there is so many, when they have those kind of, bad examples, and movies really copy the reality because those things actually exist in some way.
I always find like reality is so much more crazy than any film. Like I'm a filmmaker and like I try and think of ideas and stuff, and then just things happen in front of me, and I'm just like, what? Like you can't predict some of the madness that happens, But it's kind of like the exciting part of life as well. But I think you're right in that, if you spend too much time in negative kind of energy, in that darkness, then, the things that start happening around you, I notice, even for myself, like if I'm mentally, I'm a bit tired or I'm getting a bit stressed out about something, I notice more negative things seem to happen, it's like you're calling. Whereas if I switch my kind of outlook and just, it's like if I feel down or there's some kind of something I'm worried about or something, I stop myself and I go like, okay, like this isn't helping at all. So I like force myself to think in a more positive light and try and see the bright side of things. And then suddenly the energy around you changes, and even the people interacting with you, they just see you, and even like the connection between the person, you sense they're happier to be around you. And maybe it's your facial expression or whatever, but like I notice it quite a lot where if you're moody or you're angry, people just stay away from you. They don't want to be around that because they don't want to be dragged down, but they can also sense it. Like I think we don't give ourselves enough credit for how receptive we are for emotions. Like we look at animals, right? And dogs, like the dog knows when you're upset, and it'll come next to you and like sort of try and comfort you. Or cats, or even like little rats and stuff, like.
But it's actually even bigger, like you're part of this community, the world community.
Yep.
And everybody pays some rule here, and there is some people that really spend their whole life just to pray, or stay in a meditation state. Like we see that in India, but there is so many around the world that really dedicate them life to really trying to uplift and pray for others, and and everything. And on the other hand, there is those dark thoughts. Even everybody is really created those field of negativity that is really scary, and that's why it's necessary.
Kind of grows, right?
Yeah, it's kind of grows. That's why I think those people, they can really see when they come in, or there is some, those houses somewhere you can feel there is something in there.
Yeah.
That is really creepy.
I've got some stories, some creepy stories for you.
Yeah, okay, tell me more.
Let me just like up this a sec, because, that's better. I feel like Alien Batman. Ow!
Oh, sorry.
That's my lip. And my mustache.
No.
Okay. Oh no, it's okay. I like the nose. Thanks.
So you can breathe.
Oh, it's okay. I got my mouth like. Anyway, creepy story time with Harvey and Maria. Okay, we will get to the story. Sorry, I'm having a problem with my costume at the minute. Right, okay, we're good. Creepy story time coming up. So you talk about like in a house, you kind of sense that like dark energy, right?
Yeah.
So my parents' house, let's talk about that. So when, like, over the years, like, they've found different bodies under my parents' house, which is, yeah.
What?
Yeah, like, several skeletons have been found under my parents' house, and, like, they would close off the roads back in the day, but now it's, like, every time they do some construction, they find another human body. So now they don't even mention it to the council. They just basically take the body and just chuck it in the skip, which to me is probably a really bad idea, right?
Oh, God.
Yeah. So Essentially, the house was built next to a church. Like you're talking, where my family are from is an old. Like my school was like 800 years old, so it's like an old place. Probably nothing compared to what you got in Italy, you know. But yeah, so the house was built on essentially when the grave was. Well, maybe there was a church near or something. But yeah, so there's all these skeletons under the house, and like, I was like digging as a kid just for like something to do because I got too much energy, and I sort of dug up this like bag of bones, and I was just like, yeah, I said to my dad, I was like, what's this? He's like, please don't touch that. So yeah, bear in mind, so you got probably 3 skeletons they found under the house.
Oh God.
Yeah, so that's the back of the story.
Human body or like
human
kids
bodies.
or
I think they were just adults,
adults.
but they were like facing a certain direction.
Okay.
So I think it's some kind of, I don't know any religion really, but it's, I think they bury them a certain way, therefore it's like something to do with the church. But
I just remember that they found some kids' bones
oh God, it wasn't in my house.
in the wall of some church.
Oh wow.
They were like, yeah, they were covering them. Yeah.
Well, even the catacombs of Paris, right? There's skulls everywhere. But yeah, so you got all these skeletons under the house, and like a lot of weird shit has happened in the house. Like little things have happened to me, but it's more to my family members, and obviously we're all involved. So like, the first story would be one I remember was when my brother. So we got this garage out the back, which they converted into like a play den for me and my brother, and we used to play the PlayStation up there, and we had like boxes of Lego, and we just played with that. And I remember I was down in the house playing another console, and my brother came running in and running up the stairs and was shouting at me. He's like, he wasn't swearing, but he was just really angry, you know. He was like, and I was just like, what is going on here? And then I went downstairs and spoke to my mom. She's like, what's happened? Why is he so upset? And apparently has said, it's my brother, there was a Batman cape. Oh no, sorry. There was he was just playing with a Lego, minding his own business, and behind him you got like this really narrow stairway, and you can always hear people like hear the footsteps if someone's coming up the stairs. Didn't hear any footsteps, and he sort of sat there, and suddenly this like Batman toy like hits him in the back of the head, and he thought it was me, so I don't know if there was some more to it, but yeah, this thing hit him, and he come running downstairs because he thought I threw it as a joke. So like, yeah, it was that. So that was a little bit creepy right there. But then there's a few more parts of the story, different kind of all part of the same house. But my, should we have a break? You wanna, you wanna take it in turns, or should I just keep going?
No, I was listening to you. I see you struggling with the mic.
Oh, it's all good. I like a challenge. Okay, so another weird story was I have 3. So 3 weird stories. There is more, but so the second one is my brother and mother. It always seems to affect them. Actually, I got God knows how many stories. So one time there was. Let's go back a second. When I go into the house, it creeps me out. Like I look up the stairs and I'm like, ugh. And I don't ever want to like turn the light off downstairs and then have to go up the stairs like in the dark. It's creepy. Like maybe I watch too many horror movies, but yeah, it's spooky. But yeah, so my brother and my mom, they're down in the living room and they're just kind of watching TV. I think my dad was out somewhere and I was out, but they hear the door go, like the front door, and they're kind of like just assume my dad's got back. And then they're sort of sat there watching TV, and the room's laid out, so there's a doorway, and the kind of rest of the living room like sort of pokes around the corner. So if someone's at the door, at the entrance, they can stand back, and the light from in the kitchen leaves their shadow on the floor.
Okay.
Okay, so they're sat there watching TV, and then suddenly this like shadow comes to the, they see this like figure or something at the doorway, and they kind of assume it's my dad, and then this shadow moves across the floor and like through the wall, and they my mum looks at my brother and goes, "Did you see that?" And he goes, "Yeah." And then they didn't talk about it anymore. They were like, "Fuck that." They're like, "No, not out." And like, oh god, there's so many creepy stories, man. Like,
Can I have you one a second?
let's see. Yeah, I don't know. That's better. I can see. Like, I've woke up with scratches and stuff before, and I remember facing the wrong way up my bed. I fell asleep, and something was in the corner of the room, and it just goes like in my ear, and I was like, "What was that?" You know, I like jumped up. I was like, "What the fuck?" And like the next day, I woke up, I had like little scratches and stuff on me.
No way.
Seriously, like it's so. Look, I'm not like I'm like with paranormal stuff. I'm interested in it, but I'm still kind of skeptical. You know.
Oh, you have to. You have to, because we have to be careful with those kind of energy and entities, because there is something out there, you know, like. And,
Our eyes only pick up a certain amount.
and
of
also, my grandma, she told me that the other grandma from my father's side did some weird voodoo stuff towards my mother.
like the evil eye,
Yes.
the bitch.
So
Continue.
now she is on the other side, so I don't want to call her.
Oh, I apologize. I'm sorry. Fuck, she's gonna come wake me up tonight.
Go away. But that's why I think a lot of spiritual communities or religion, they pray a lot, or they have like rituals, or you know, they know how to deal with those things. And like I had like a good or spiritual person told me to turn on a candle,
Okay,
a white candle,
Why, to purify or?
to purify energy from your past in the afternoon, like before bed, and basically imagine a table full of food and beautiful stuff to give to my family. So it's like kind of thank you for what you give me, now heal yourself in a way. And I don't know how this is it's working for real, but it's working. Like my family, all my mother start to feel much better after that year.
Yeah.
And yeah, there is something, and I'm very, in a way, I'm skeptical because I don't have the full, you know, scientific proof or everything how it works, but I saw some evidence stuff that
Like what?
really, you know, like even those things like the candle and pray for my family for like more than a year, and I saw them really change that year. That never happened before.
Do you think it's like, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, but devil's avocado, but maybe, you know, it's like a placebo effect in that you start saying, okay, I'm going to put this candle here, so you change your intention to be more, you know, this room's going to be purified, this candle's going to help me, and you're kind of convincing yourself that this is going to make a change. Therefore, you start living. You feel like, yeah, I feel different. I feel good. And I'm not criticizing, but you know, it's like if what we were talking about earlier. If you make yourself more positive, good things happen to you. And it's like it's all connected.
It's like a message. It's like a silence message that you send. Because if you close up or you have a bad thought about somebody, seems like that this other person know what you think. You know, they feel
They
it,
see
they
through you.
perceive it. You know, there is those no kind of languages, or not even through the body, because sometimes we think about somebody and we have like a message even though we never thought about this person for years. You know, and randomly happen at the same moment and you thought about it. So there is some connection
So do you
under the surface.
yeah, because it is strange that when you get a text and someone's like, I was just thinking about you, you know? Like,
Yeah, scared the shit out of me.
no, but it's cool. It's like, you know, we are connected, and it's like, if there's someone that's pissed you
Even-
off, you know, you can send them bad vibes. Like, yeah, fuck you, man.
Exactly. That's why you don't have to say those things.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you
It's
can
not
send
good.
love, you know, you can send
Yeah,
love.
exactly.
Let's stick to love, not hate. Yeah?
Even in Perth, in Fremantle, there is a prison that now is a hostel.
Yeah.
And
Bad shit happens there, I bet.
I refuse to
You don't want to drop the
sleep
soap
there.
in that hostel.
Like a friend of mine that she has, you know, some, she wanted to go there, experience this, but for me it was like, how can you do it? Not just even think about, you know, people suffering or yelling in that place. How can you sleep properly, you know?
Yeah, you got to be a bit sadistic to want to experience, but then people do it, man. People go on tours to see where serial killers killed their victims and stuff, right? So, especially women. Women seem to love serial killers.
Because we want to be protected.
So,
If you have a I don't know,
how does that work?
poison thing like me right now, I don't need anybody, you know.
But like, why?
But we
why,
need this protection. We
How
want
is
protection.
being attracted to a serial killer? How is that protection?
Because
He's gonna kill you. That's the opposite of protection.
yeah, but on the other side, if the word hand,
Yeah.
he gonna protect me and somehow I don't watch those things. So
Okay, this is where women and men think differently.
I
I don't want to be near any serial killers. Like, I don't trust them for some reason. Hey, I've got some more creepy stories. You want to hear?
Yes. Please.
Please. So
Keep
let me
going.
think. I think there's two I want to mention. The first one is, so my sister has global delay, so she's 40, but she's like a little kid still. But she used to go for like home stays, I guess, where she would go away for the weekend and give my parents a break. And like, this is in the first house they got. I wasn't alive at this point, but my sister would be upstairs and she got this big chest of drawers in the room. And like, she'd be banging this chest of drawers open and shut, and she'd be laughing, like giggling.
1 second.
That's all good. It's uncomfortable, however.
That's okay.
No, but yes, so my sister, she would be upstairs in her room, like banging the cupboards and laughing. She'd be like giggling, she's a little girl. And my parents would be like, they would call out, they'd be, Catherine, like, stop what you're doing, you know, stop messing around. And then just one time it happened, and the drawers were like banging. And my dad called upstairs, like, Catherine, like, stop messing around like this. And my mum sort of looked at my dad and goes, she's away this weekend. Like, she's not upstairs.
Oh no.
You know, so like, apparently there was an old lady that died in that house, so maybe she was playing with her, but kind of pretty strange, eh? Yeah.
We have similar stories back home in Italy. Creepy houses, the houses of 100 rooms.
What makes a creepy house?
Because I think
It's got to be old.
has to be old,
Yep.
and I think has to
Let me rephrase. What makes a haunted house?
has to be old, and then has to have some weird kind of killing stories. You know, some people that lived
Lot of
there,
anger.
or they experienced some sad stories, or they died in a very bad way, or really, I think the suffering and the sadness stick into the wall and the ground around that place,
Like
that you can,
imprints.
you can feel it. That's why
It's
everything is connected, you know.
But it's like
guys.
the idea of ghosts, right? Ghosts are like a memory that's caught in the house, say. You know, it's like, it's on the walls, it's lived there. It's like the energy is still in that place. You know, it's like, even though the body or they've gone or something, but it's like their soul is kind of, they call it limbo, right? And the soul is still caught in that place, and it doesn't it keeps reliving the same thing because it never completed some kind of thing it had to do in its life.
Yeah, I think as we see in the Dante, the hell and the heaven, how you describe it. Do you know that story?
I mean, I've seen the painting,
Okay.
but the story not so much.
So basically, there is like circles that goes under and down, down, and every circle is basically connected on something bad you done in your life. So you have to repeat it that over and over.
It's
in
like
the hell.
karma. That's okay, I got it. Don't you worry. I'm an adult. I can do this myself. So continue.
And then we have also circle that goes up we have a circle of angels and those beautiful entities that lives on the top. So it's also, kind of a balance between light and dark, but we have to respect the both, and the dark is intense, but also we don't have to be afraid by. And we have to respect it because it is kind of period and process of some soul or, those entities or demons. I think demons is basically something that really been stuck for very long time.
Ancient.
And yeah, that lives there. And also there is so many old stories that connect through those kind of things, and they also celebrate in a different way. Like now we have Halloween, happy Halloween, but we have so many other ceremonies, like in Mexico.
I'd love to visit that Day of the Dead. That looks nice.
I really want to do it too. And it's beautiful because they spend, I don't know if 1 or 2 nights, I think one night next to, next to the body, the dead body. Like, it's crazy. They put flowers, they dance, they hang out there, they knit next to them.
What do you mean, like at the graveyard?
Yeah.
Oh, so they go to the grave of the
Yeah.
dead person and then they just kind of celebrate.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because that's like the difference is like with Halloween is about like scary stuff, but Day of the Dead is actually to celebrate death, right?
We have a Soul of the Day, is celebrating of the 2nd of November, and is more Christian, Western society they celebrate it. And for us, because my little brother from my foster family died, and we celebrate every year, putting some flowers and remember him, talk about when he was little, and it's kind of, beautiful, We have those ceremonies or festival trying to remember other things in life, but it was also necessary to celebrate death because it makes sense to live.
Well, I mean, this is a bit of my story because I'd never seen any of my relatives die, basically. And then my nan got really sick pretty quickly. I think she sort of went downhill pretty fast. And I saw her at the hospital, and I remember trying to help her with a drink because she was little anyway, but she got really frail. And then I was giving her. It's okay, that actually. Back on. Yeah, boy. No, and yeah, I remember trying to feed her, give her a drink and the straw, and I couldn't I was trying to obviously I was trying to deal with what I was seeing, but I couldn't get the straw in her mouth, and then she got upset and sort of slapped the straw away, and I was okay, and I remember my brother, obviously sort of said bye and everything. That's the last time I saw her alive. And then went out of the hospital. And I just like broke down crying because, you know, you're so confronted by like the reality that, you know, people die, you know, it's not forever. And my brother like comforted me and sort of gave me a big hug and stuff. And it's funny because he's younger than me, but he was more like, it felt more like he was the man then and he was looking after me. And I was super upset, but it kind of opened my eyes to just the reality of life, really, you know, that we're not here really for a long time. And that's one of the reasons I come traveling, is because it's like, I don't want to just live my life and just do the same stuff I've always done. It's like, I want to experience as much as I can, not just for myself. It's like, I want to be able to share knowledge and give stories and stuff to other people. But I think a big part of leaving was, seeing my nan and the death, you know? And I think you're right, like, as cultures, especially in the West, like, we have all these different traditions around the world where, like, there's one in Asia somewhere. I remember watching do you ever watch Dark Tourist?
No.
It's like a show where this guy goes around to like weird kind of touristy things to do. But one of them was like visit this like kind of like Day of the Dead, I guess. But I'll find out what it's called. But they would actually dig up their relatives, sit the relative at the dinner table.
Oh God.
Yeah, pretty hardcore, eh? And then he's like, "Hey, Nan, looking
You're
well."
smelly, eh?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of incense going around. But yeah, I think as culture, and especially in the West, we don't. It's like everything, you know. It's like we've come away from like the meat production. You know, it's like we don't see the animal get slaughtered, but we just go to the supermarket and get a packet of meat that doesn't even look like an animal anymore.
So tell me again, does people, what they do in China, they take the bodies?
Yeah, they basically
and
just
sit
dig
down?
up the nan, like literally sit her at the dinner table.
For how long? Just for
I think it's for a day or 2 days, maybe.
God.
Like, yeah, it's a bit of, like, it's interesting, very interesting, but yeah. But I think, we are very detached from the reality of like death and where meat comes from, for example, and fish and like.
And also, I think the underground world, for me, is more like we see has something up there, but like for us, Western society, but for me, I don't know, in African society is more under the ground, like under the surface. It's more like in the consciousness or collective consciousness in a way, you know, like for example, those people that they had somebody that dies in the war, you know, somebody that being killed in a bad way, they kind of stick with them, you know, they feel there is something in there that is connected by, and or abuse or miscarriage. You know, there is women, they still feel, you know, have some problem, I don't know, in their having kids, for example. And when they look back on women lineage, they find there is a lot of miscarriage in like 2 or 3 generations.
Why is there miscarriage? I'm confused.
For example, there is some lineage in the family that been through problems, that is kind of connected through future generations.
Okay.
So if your granddad died in the world in a bad way, and you kind of feel it in a way through energy from your family, from your lineage, from your blood, from your body, from your consciousness, it makes you who you are. And sometimes you feel like blockages block in your real life because of that also.
So it's like other people's things that have happened to them still affect you.
Yeah, it's like the pain is so connected through.
Because it's not been healed, right?
Yeah, it's really, it's like kind of a data they've been written down and send it.
Like stored in the DNA or something.
Yeah. through energy. Even plants, they do that as well.
Because that's a big topic. Let's come back to that and really explore it. But talk about death and like we moved away. But why is death an important thing in culture? Like why do we have these festivities and stuff? Like what's the benefit? Why don't we just like bury them and go, right, see you later, done?
Because the circle of life, you know, and is also a storage for more energy, you know, and if there is something in there that you don't heal, it's going to suck your energy off. So that is important. Yeah.
It's going to suck your energy off. Yeah. All right. Give me some of that.
Take your energy off.
All right, there we go.
So that's why it's important to really sit with that, you know, acknowledge, remember everything, remember every lesson, you know, otherwise there is no point to learn. It's the same thing. We have to learn for something so we can uplift and really fully live and laugh with that energy, with that thing. And we as a woman, as a mother nature, or, you know, poison ivy.
Death. Where's your fucking scythe?
We have circles in ourselves. And
cycles,
the period cycle, moon cycle, you want to call it. So the period is basically the winter. After the winter, there is spring, summer, autumn, and then again. And we live this circle every month, but we also have a circle of the year. That's why we celebrated those events, you know, summer and all these events in springtime when everything is flourish and is beautiful again. But in winter, everything is dark, you know, and we have longer days, not in Australia.
Sorry.
Bless you.
So, sorry, longer days.
We have longer days, especially, you know, in Caucasic countries, not in Australia. We're gonna go for a swim here in Christmas, but we celebrate. We have in so many cultures those celebration festivals in the end of the year when everything has to die in a way, you know.
It's end of life.
Not end of life, end of the year, end of the season. You know, it's kind of, okay, we did everything we can. And also it's a circle of farmers, you know, nature. When you...
Time for them to have a holiday.
Finally.
After all their hard work. Don't we appreciate farmers? Yes, we love farmers.
Yes, and when we, you know, work nature, we work the soil, we spread the seeds and everything, winter is basically praying for the next, you know, harvest, and hopefully it's gonna be a good one, so everybody can eat. And this is the circle basically. We have to put some seeds, remember, and let it grow. And we have to, you know,
it's kind of the ethos we should have with life, right? Like there's, you know, you plant seeds and stuff, and like here and there, and then eventually they grow into something. But you have to put the work in and have the initial, get the seed in the first place, you know. Yeah. And
wait, give it a time, you know, to grow.
Patience.
Yeah, and the winter.
Cryptocurrency, right? Patience. Hodl for life, eh?
Yeah, we have to wait until, and it's good also to rest. You know, a lot of animals go to rest in winter.
Yeah.
For the
months. Months of sleep. Like, imagine if like humans are, all right, we have to stop, guys. Like, it's that time of year. Let's just go for a long rest. And we just sleep for 4 months in a cave. Like, we'd have a lot of dreams. What do you think a bear dreams about? What does a bear dream about? Like killing stuff or just honey?
What do you mean?
Like bears, like a bear, right? Like grizzly bears, it's swimming in honey, It's just loving life. It's like an otter. You know how otters lay in the water and they're just like breaking stuff? They're breaking the nuts. Yeah, that's a bear in honey.
But do you think is that an alien right now?
This guy,
Yeah.
our little friend. Yep.
We are eternal beings.
Ah, interesting. Okay, so I believe in reincarnation. Like, I believe that energy doesn't go anywhere. I think, the body dies, but the energy that the body was producing doesn't end. I think it will just go to a different body, or like, this is why I'm pretty skeptical about fusion, because we're trying to like get a lot more output than what we put in. And I think it doesn't really work realistically, unless there's other factors.
What do you mean?
So like if I crush 2 apples together, I'm not going to get 6 liters of juice. It just doesn't work. But with the sun, fusion, the sun basically does that. It crushes hydrogen into helium, and the release of energy is like a massive release, like an atomic weapon. But they're trying to create that and stabilize it with magnets in this, I think it's a tokamak reactor. And they've been trying to do this for like 50 years or something, but it's always failed. And I think at the minute it's actually a big scam, because you've got a lot of startups which are like, we have an idea, and then they get a load of investment, but then just fuck off with the money, basically. So I don't know. I would love it to work, because if we were able to get like that kind of unlimited energy, obviously there's no need for coal and solar or any other reason, So we would fix all of society's problems. But I think the reality is, maybe it is possible, but we don't have the science yet to really understand it. Or like I said, there's other forces at play that we don't yet understand. But anyway, I'm not a scientist, but I do find it interesting. But what were we talking about before this?
We were talking about, spiritual beings.
Right, okay. So, yeah, I think, and I've read it, and it seems like you get these weird conspiracy kind of avenues, and the same sort of stories seem to pop up, and it's where maybe people are inspired by other people's stories or something, or maybe there's some truth in it. And like there's a trippy book called like Interview with an Alien, and apparently it's about a woman who, well, it is, I read it, like it's you finished it, right? I didn't,
Yes.
But there's a woman who essentially was the translator or like communicator with one of the Roswell crashes. The bodies that was recovered from that was still alive, apparently, and it communicated through telepathy, but it only wanted to communicate with one woman who was like part. I think
capable of receiving.
I think he didn't trust anybody, but it sensed with her she was trustworthy, basically. Like she didn't have any deeper, like dodgy intentions, whereas the alien was surrounded by all
Agent and
he's like all CIA, all that stuff.
Military.
And, like, who's going to trust them? If I can see into your brain, I know exactly what you want to do with my knowledge.
Yeah.
So apparently, it trusted the woman and sort of said a lot of stuff to her. But so again, sidetracks. I think in the book it mentions about our soul is kind of, in the universe, there is a finite amount of souls. Like, it's not forever. Souls just don't keep popping in and out of reality. Kind of. Because if a universe collides with another universe, the souls in those universes can join this greater universe.
So he was, the being was explaining in this way that there is those souls or beings that are really powerful. They can embody different bodies at the same time. So it's not true what you were saying as well.
So sorry, say that one more time. So lots of souls can be in one body.
So one soul or one being can exist in different bodies at the same time.
I have a weird story about this. We'll come back to this as well because I love this weird topic. It's amazing.
Sure.
But essentially, when I was younger, my mum really opened up about my family in this one. My mum suffered with depression, and like she tried everything to get over the depression, and she got to a point where she was pretty suicidal. But she was like, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna go to like one of these healer kind of not shaman, but kind of like a psychic, I guess. And so she goes, and I remember like me, my dad, and my brother, we were just like in a pub waiting for her, basically. So it's all her perspective, the story, but essentially she said, she went in, met the woman, she's really lovely, she laid on a bed, and the woman was like talking to her, and she had like a really soothing voice, and my mom was sort of laying there, and the woman goes, okay, like, let's see what's going on, basically, and she said to my mom, she's like, I think there may be more, like you say, souls or ghosts. I think I don't really know, but like imprints attached to you. And my mom, I think, had been going to hospital and stuff for my other nan, which was dying. And essentially, when my mom saw this woman, my mom's like kind of in a meditative state, and this woman says to my mom, if there's anyone else here, could you show yourself, kind of thing. And my mom's little finger starts like flicking like this, and the woman goes, okay. She goes, is there more than one being here? And the finger goes, is there more than two beings in this woman? And the finger's going again, and the woman's like, what? Like, is there more than 7 here? And the finger's going, basically. And so the woman, I don't know what she did. She just kind of said to them, like, you have to leave. You can't be part of this woman's body. Is not yours to use. And she thinks it's from when my mom's going to the hospital. These lost kind of souls were attaching themselves to my mom because she was depressed and had like this weakness. And they weren't doing it to be nasty. It's just they just needed a body, you know.
Yeah.
But my mom sort of came out of there and she was a bit tripped out. She was like, "Well, that was weird," but she was good. I remember her like being happy after that. So, like, I don't know.
I heard some kind of story as well. So they basically are healers. Those people, they've been attracted by those little entities, little souls they kind of lost, and they attach it through, like they've been, they like to be, stick in those kind of bodies that your mother, she might be a healer. I don't know, she works with,
She's a carer. She cares for people.
Yeah, so she's really good at doing it, but probably because she's good at doing it, she also not looking after herself. So afterwards, she has to clean her energy, so make those energy goes away, and maybe she didn't really take care of herself, so they stick inside of herself.
Because she's always like trying to help other people and like almost like losing a bit of herself in trying so hard to make other people happy. And I've had this conversation with her before. It's just like, you need to like take a step back basically and like look after yourself, because I'm guilty for it as well. Like, because I feel like we're similar. We've both had to care for people before, and it's it becomes part of your personality. It's like, it's who you are. You're just a carer, and like sometimes
that's why a lot of healers and gurus, when they have their session afterwards they have like a meditation of a cleaning
to
bath
reset.
Or to really pray and clean their energy to really start all over again. But I think we don't have in our culture to do it. So
medicine, right? We've just pills and chemicals.
This solve everything.
It's a big part of the human experience that we're actually missing, because if we can't prove it, then it doesn't exist, and that's the wrong attitude of science. I think our science is so it's so new. Like in the grand scheme of things, our science is such a new thing, but we think we have all the answers. And if it's not proven, then it doesn't exist. And I think that's the wrong attitude. I think we should go in with like an open mind.
You were told me about they just find that chemical thing that really connects
like the Higgs boson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more?
I think, because again, I'm not a physicist, but I find it interesting. But the essentially, you know, the CERN collider in Switzerland, maybe. So you got the particle collider, which just smashes particles together at like the speed of. I think the force they smash the particles together is like two actual trains smashing together.
It's massive energy.
It's so much energy, and the particle just basically releases a shit ton of other things, you know, like other particles and stuff, and things we don't even like know. Like, but the problem is, like lots of unknown particles, basically. But the problem is, it happens so quickly. It's like an instant, so it like hits instant. So the computers that have to sort of go through and because it would take humans like thousands of years or whatever to like analyze this information, but obviously the supercomputers can do it. It still takes time, but they can do it a lot quicker.
So they kind of take a picture of
I think
that
so,
moment.
yeah. It's like
They record it.
yeah, maybe not a picture. It's more like a simulation, I think.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and they found the Higgs boson. I think it's like 2012 or something. So
they found the normal things like atom or, you know, chemical things.
Particles.
Like, yeah, particles, sorry.
Yeah, so like it's just different particles basically, like you know, protons and like, again, I'm not a physicist.
That's okay.
But anyway, they've been looking for this like particle. I think it's a field, and it's like the string theory of like everything is connected, you know, through like the smallest strings. But these strings are the Higgs boson, so it's this field which connects everything. So like we're connected to the moon, to like all the other stars. Everything with strings, like microscopic strings, is connected, and that's what creates this field. So I guess that's where you could argue about like the butterfly effect. You know, it's like if a little thing happens here, there could be repercussions, and there is. You know, so I think, yeah. I don't know. I think the more we explore, especially the quantum realm of physics, the less we know. You know, it seems like there's just even more questions that open up. And this is why, like, I think a lot of very educated scientists become religious, because they experience, like, they see there's so much mad, like, craziness going on that they don't understand. It kind of opens the door back up to God and religion, because you think...
And also seems like a chaos, but it's not really a chaos. You know, it's not random.
Yeah.
Can be, everything has like infinite solution.
Well, I think if you have a computer powerful enough, there's a pattern in everything. Nothing, like you could chuck a load of marbles on the floor, and where they land up, you could analyze it, and with a powerful enough computer, you will see there is patterns within that of where you just chucks the marbles, what you think randomly. And this to me is like, we start talking about like spirits and souls and this kind of thing, and I don't know anything. You know, I know nothing about the world, and that's what makes me curious, and I just want to know more. Like, I'm so interested in like everything. And I don't know, I feel like as you grow up, you know, you lose this kind of curiosity as a child. You know, like kids at always, they want to know everything. They're like, why is it, why, you know? And I think as we get older, we kind of lose that
curiosity.
Yeah, you know, and I think it's important to like
keep looking.
Yeah, like I guess it's like a muscle as well. You know, it's like keep making yourself interested and just like explore. Yeah, question, explore. I think it's really crucial for us to get through some of the problems that we're having nowadays.
But the alien story, I would like to dive a little deeper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the woman, the interview.
Yeah, I think.
Oh wow, this gets pretty trippy, right? Because I read it and I was kind of like,
I don't know.
maybe, I don't know. Like, could be true. Like, I don't know, because
The alien religion I will definitely follow.
yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, at the same time, no one knows what happens after death, right? Nobody knows. So anything's possible. And I think even in the past few years of the kind of global events and things that have happened, it's like nothing surprises me. Like, when I hear some mad theory, like, obviously you have to, you know, like, go at it with like try not to be gullible, you know, don't just listen and believe everything, but critical think about it and kind of like make your own opinion about something.
Yeah.
So
Let's share that story.
God, the idea is that Earth is like I'd say a playground, but it's more like a prison. And essentially we're kept here essentially as slaves, right? Like, our souls are stuck to Earth, because obviously to us, Earth is a paradise, you know, like there's deserts and it's hard, but there's also, like, it's a big, heavy planet, which is, you know, to get off the planet, you have to use a ton of energy. You know, it's not great for space travel because by the like to get up there, you know. But yeah, and it's also like the souls can't escape, because when you die, your soul is essentially caught and kept back on Earth. Because
That there is like a kind of screen or frequency reception that stuck your soul back to Earth through pain and suffer.
I thought it was like, yeah, like you experience pain and suffering, but the lure is like something that's like love.
No, excitement, love, excitement, and pain, the same together. So that's kind of weird, you know, love and hate kind of feeling.
Yeah.
That keep the souls back on Earth again and live and trying to, because it's really interesting when he was talking about, you know, there is so many correlation of people that lived in planet Earth in a way of alignment, you know, in a way of higher state of being, to be able, and also vegetarian, not, you know, make your body and your mind fully receptive and everything to really go back of where you come from. So basically, all souls that come from here, they are here, basically come from different other planets. There were different alien, not different aliens. So basically, there is a lot of beings. They've been stuck in this planet Earth as a jail, because there is some entities that took them planets in some galaxy and they destroyed them and they took them over here. So we are kind of in a state of jail. And so basically out there, there is like massive system of intellectual beings that really collaborate with each other. They not live like us just to kill each other. And
But the other thing in the book is like, if your soul lives forever, you know, you've been alive, your soul has existed for millions and millions of years, like the amount of knowledge you would have, right? You can't be killed, right? Your soul can't be demolished. So the only way to deal with it is to grab it and put it in a prison, basically, because you can't kill it, you can't destroy it, but you can contain it. And what would be worse? You know, like, you've been alive, you've existed for millions of years, you have like an infinite amount of knowledge, but then to take that knowledge away from you, and this is supposed to be the bit in the book, like when you die, you basically get like
brainwashing.
Brainwashed, and you forget all of your past lives, all of your knowledge, and every time you die, this happens to you. So you're just caught in this loop.
There is so many religions or culture that believes in reincarnation and past life and all these things. So
Yeah, I don't know. Like, this is a thing. It's like, yeah, it sounds pretty crazy and out there, but like at the same time, what do we really know?
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. I find these kind of ideas interesting to think about. Yeah, I think, yeah, sick.
Yeah, like if you...
You think in aliens? Do you think they exist?
I think they exist. And also
course they
America
do.
says they exist, so they
Yeah.
just said, they just released this news.
Yeah.
We
the
are
Pentagon.
definitely not alone after the
Okay, so like we're arguing and like there's so much stuff going on in the world. Like the Pentagon and the US Navy release videos and like it's mentioned, but like everyone's so caught up and worried about their own shit. No one is paying attention to the fact that
What the fuck is
exist.
going on? Yeah.
You know, like I was on the farm and I said to everybody, I was just like, oh, like, by the way, the Pentagon's just released all this stuff on aliens. And they're like, cool, yeah, all right. It's like, the Pentagon has released this information. Anyway, I'm concerned. My concern is that we can't even communicate with each other. How are we going to chat to them, you know? They're going to look at us and be like, you little...
They're here already
Yeah,
and
probably.
say...
Yeah, right here. Fucking this boy.
They're already here and say, how can we have a conversation if you want to kill us, you know? Yeah,
They're just like, you idiots. Like, just give us a little slap, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
we
we're still
have to-
kids. We're still kids.
we need to uplift our
Yeah.
way of thinking and not cut like ourselves in a solution that we can use guns or a war to find a common sense.
I think
There
we need
isn't.
I think we need to move past money and as our main driver for everything. You know,
It's
like
just a tool.
It's a
Just a
tool.
tool for our, you know, life to make a, you know, live in a...
but also like what's our values as humans? Like why are we here, you know, and like what is our purpose? But also like
What really fulfilled us?
yeah.
You know, I feel when I'm really like truly happy and when I'm pretending or like, you know, there is so many different ways to really understand and listen to ourselves is so very important to really, you know, get rid of bullshit.
Yeah.
And then you can have a chat with your ancestors.
Fuck, you want to hear another story?
Yes.
No, I'm joking. I'm out of stories now. I don't know more.
No, tell me more.
Fuck. It's just like the idea that there's just bodies underneath it.
Oh,
you know,
that's
like,
crazy.
Fuck, it's
That's
pretty
great.
wild.
But even in Italy, they found so many crazy situation like this, you know, bodies.
How do you want to be, like when you die, what do you want to happen? You want cremated or buried or something else?
I would like to grow as a tree.
You want to be buried as a tree food?
No, they.
Yeah, that's it. You're a tree food. They'll put a seed in your head and you will grow.
So I saw this article like a couple of years ago. So it's basically it's like egg with your body
Okay.
and
But
with the tree.
But that isn't...
Let me finish. Like your body and the tree roots together, and
But, like-
and they put on the soil, and you grow.
You're tree food. Cool.
But tell me yours then.
Do you know what? Like, I've not thought about this too much, but like, I would like to be taxidermied. Like, yeah, you know when you get a cat and it dies, so you stuff it, and then it's like in a weird shape.
Which house?
I'll be like on a riding a bike or something. I don't know.
In your ass.
Maybe. Yeah.
On your nose.
So yeah, I think. No, I'm joking. I don't know. To be honest, I haven't got that far ahead. To be honest, like, fuck. Yeah.
But yeah, there is a lot of ways, you know. You can sell
You
yourself.
get mauled by a bear,
So-
you know, and then you can go hibernate and have a really good sleep, you know.
Thank you guys for watching. And if you have thoughts, ideas, leave us in the comments. See you very soon.
Brilliant. I recommend it.